So I hope you all have done your homework. These sentences are already discussed in the class. These idioms are given in your study materials, and you are supposed to go through them and try to understand the meaning of these idioms. So we will start with the first question of today. What answer will you select? All of you can type. Option B is the right answer. Those of you who've given B, well done. Because the question is telling us that if somebody chooses to be a mediator, they should not agree to take any sides. They are abandoning the right to take sides later, which means as a mediator, they should remain neutral. And that's exactly what B is saying. A is wrong because it says they should not try to form any opinions of their own. They can. That's not the part of this discussion, that they cannot have an opinion. Neither is it about to be equally acceptable, which is not in their hands. They cannot take sides in the dispute. And they cannot reserve the right to abandon their impartiality. So as all of you can see that out of all the options, it is only option Bravo, which is matching with the entire passage. That's why Bravo is the right answer. We will move to the next question. The Felix Mendelssohn passage. So all of you can type. What answer did you get? That's right, Ravi and Virat. It is the fourth sentence. That's right, Pratyaksha. So from then on, he was recognized as an artist of preternatural abilities. Is the right sentence. So I hope all of you have got the same answer. The clue in the question was about indicate the range of his talents. And this is the sentence that is giving us the range, that he was not only a composer, but he was also a pianist and a conductor. So that's the reason this sentence is the right answer. Question number 3. What answer did you all get? That's right. The discrepancy between his popularity and that of his standing among critics, we get that from the word dichotomy, and we have that here. That there is a general acknowledgement of his genius, but at the same time, there is a noticeable reluctance to rank him with Schumann or Brahms. So this is where we get the contrast, and that's the reason the answer is Charlie. We can also get this by elimination. There is no tension mentioned between his career as a composer and his career as a pianist and conductor. There is no contrast between his popularity and that of Schumann and Brahms. There is no inconsistency mentioned, and we do not have anything about his death, nor is there anything about his musical beginnings. So all of us can see C would be the right answer. What is your question, Virat? I'm not getting it. See, this is why I tell you, you should have a microphone, because I'm not able to understand your question. If you're asking a question, Virat.
So I was confused at that last
So
part.
once again, I repeat, the question is asking us about a dichotomy in his life, in his career. And the dichotomy is like a paradox, and we get that here. Despite general acknowledgement of his genius, there has been a noticeable reluctance to rank him. So the critics are not giving him a high rank, but the people are giving him a high position. And this is where we get the contrast or the contradiction, which is why the answer is Charlie, the discrepancy between Mendelssohn's popularity and his standing among critics. I hope all of you got it. We move to question number 4. What answer did all of you get? D is the right answer because we all know ranking is done by the critiques only, and here it is written the reluctance, and we know the reluctance is to rank, so we can easily pick up the answer is D. That's right, all of you. Well done. We move to question 5. What answer will you get? All of you type. Yes, echo is the right answer because by comparing, the author is comparing Schumann and Brahms, isn't it? So the author is comparing Schumann and Brahms. That's the reason standard of comparison is the right answer. Not who are often compared. We do not know whether they are compared with each other. Mendelssohn with Schumann and Brahms. More popular passage does not tell us they are more popular or he is more popular. Composers Mendelssohn influenced. We do not have that information in the passage. And we are not comparing the milieu. Milieu is the social environment. That's not the reason why Schumann and Brahms are mentioned. Schumann and Brahms are mentioned to compare the position which is given by the critics, and that's the reason the answer is echo. What answer do you think will be of question 6? Yes, B is the right answer. It's directly given in the passage that the question is asking us about following the Second World War and what was the difference between the manufacturing and agricultural sectors. So we can get the answer here post-war years, and agriculture industry was hiring more women even after the war was over. So this is where we get the answer that in agriculture there were more women and in manufacturing there were more men. So either you say that the difference between, and the question is asking what is the difference between the two. So either you say agriculture had more women or you say manufacturing had more men. That's why the answer is B, the percentage of employees in each sector who were men. Like, manufacturing we're having more men and agriculture we're having more women. There's nothing mentioned about the rate of expansion. It isn't about the trend of wages as well. Nor is it about the attitude of the popular media towards employment of women in each sector. And we do not have any information about satisfaction of women in each sector. So the only thing that we can get from the passage is agriculture had more women and manufacturing had more men, which is why B for Bravo is the right answer. We move to question 7. What option will you select? That's right, because we already know, and it says which of the following is most clearly supported by the passage. So the best way to do this is by process of elimination. If we read option A, it says most women wanted to return. That is wrong. Passage says the opposite. The media wanted the women to return. B says the great majority of women who joined the workforce during the Second World War were employed in manufacturing. That is wrong. The great majority of women were in agriculture. C says the end of the Second World War was followed by large scale transfer of women. And in the passage, there is no mention of transfer. And D says the popular media were more forceful in calling for women to join. But it is just the opposite. The media wanted the women to return. So after doing the process of elimination, we can be sure the right answer is D, which we already know. The increase in women's employment that accompanied the Second World War was longer lasting in agriculture than in manufacturing. We already have that information. So now we go to the next passage, the Hawaiian Islands passage. What answer will you select? All of you can type. Everyone is getting B, and that is the right answer. Again, in case of any doubt, you can do process of elimination. The question is asking us about the primary purpose of the whole passage. And if you see, the topic of discussion is the dispersal of seeds to Hawaiian Islands. There are two theories. One is the ocean air current theory, and the other is the bird transport theory. So we have a theory 1 and a theory 2. Till the end, you can see the author is neutral. The author has not taken any side. So the tone of the author is neutral. Structure is, we have two theories, and the main idea is the long distance dispersal of seeds. Now answering this question becomes very easy. All we need to do is eliminate the wrong options. A says discussing different approaches biologists have taken to testing theories. Now, both the theories cannot be tested. You can test the ocean theory because of the mention of flotation experiment. But how will you test the bird transport theory? There is nothing mentioned. Furthermore, it says distribution of plants. We are not talking of distribution of plants. We are talking of distribution of plant seeds, which is why A is a wrong answer, wrong option. There is nothing wrong in B. It says we are discussing different theories about the transport of plant seeds to Hawaii. All the words are matching. So let's check out C. And C says only one theory, air current theory. Where is the bird transport theory? It cannot be the main idea. To be the main idea, it should be like a summary. It should cover the entire passage. It should mention both the theories, not just one theory. And D and E are wrong because of the first word. The author is neutral. So where is the author resolving? Resolving means to come to a conclusion. The author is not coming to any conclusion that which theory is correct. So now we can be sure the right answer is B for Bravo. I hope all of you are clear if anyone was having any doubt. And those of you given B, well done. Birat, Diksha, Prabhat, Pushkar, Pratiraksha, and Janaki. And if anybody was having a doubt, I hope it is now clarified why B is the right answer. If anyone still has a doubt, please ask. So identifying the tone, the structure, the main idea is very important. What answer will you select for question number 9? Yes, it's a very easy question. Why the flotation experiments are mentioned, you already know. The flotation experiments are mentioned after the word yet, and yet is used for contradicting or challenging. That means the flotation experiments are written to challenge the ocean current theory, not support or lend credibility, nor is it talking about the duration of time. So we cannot go for option Charlie. Neither is it about other parts of the world. We are only talking about Hawaii, not comparing other parts of the world. So this is how we can eliminate and get the right answer as D. I hope you all are clear. Next, we go to the next passage of today's discussion, the passage on a dream of light and shadow. So, what do you think will be the answer of this question? All of you can type. Okay, if anybody was having a difficulty in answering this question, let me tell you the strategy. The first thing we identify here is, again, there are two sides. So you look out for the word yet. And after yet, you can see we are talking about the inadequate part of the book. So it is negative. And before the yet, we are talking about the positive parts. You can look at the word enjoyed as a child. So this is the first thing we do. We identify the positive side and the negative side. Then the question is asking us about fall short, which is negative. So this is the thing we have to keep in mind, that now we have to go to the negative side and do the word matching. If you look at A, it says representations of reality can be unreliable, and that is matching here. So A is definitely there, because you can see here there is the mention of representation of reality, and it is tenuous. Tenuous is matching with unreliable, and we have representation of reality. If you, but B is not mentioned. There is no mention of stylistic variety at the expense of accuracy of detail. We just have the word style, but not stylistic variety, and at the expense is not mentioned. So B cannot be the right answer. C says offers a wealth of detail. Wealth of detail will match with florid detail, and without critical examination is matching with a critical contextualization was inadequate, which is why the answer of this question is A and C, but not B. I hope you all got it. If anyone still has a doubt, please ask. No doubts. We will move to the next question, which is asking us about the function of the second sentence. Anyone who can try this? What do you think will be the answer here? So this question is asking us what is the function of the second sentence, and if you look at the second sentence, it is giving us the reason why she enjoyed it as a book as a child. A Dream offers a rich read, varied in both the lives and texts of the women portrayed and the perspectives and styles of the 16 essays, which is why the answer is B, to elaborate on how a dream fulfills the author's childhood criteria for a pleasurable book. So it is a direct question, and if you read this sentence, you will easily be able to pick it up why B is the right answer. The other options are wrong. We are not talking of a representation of reality. There is no more sophisticated. It is not about being inadequate. We are talking about the positive side. Nor is it about contextualization again, which is in the negative side. So by looking at the placement of the sentence, all of you can easily pick up why B is the right answer. We move to question number 3, which is about a paradox. And we have already discussed a paradox. So if anybody has done this question, what answer would you select? B is the right answer, yes, because you can see the paradox is between the Hyalina and the Galeata. The Galeata remains at the top, whereas the Hyalina departs to the bottom of the lake. So you can easily see the difference between the two. The Galeata has all the positive thing, Hyalina has all the negative thing. Still, the population of Hyalina is more than Galeata, which means there must be a problem at the top, which Galeata is facing, and that Hyalina is not facing. Then only we can satisfy the paradox. And that problem is given in option B, that Galeata is facing some kind of a predator such as whitefish and perch, which will eat it, and they only live and feed near the surface of the lake, which Hyalina does not face at the bottom of the lake. And this is the reason why the population of Hyalina is more than the population of Galeata. I hope all of you are clear. If anyone has a doubt in any other option, please ask. If anyone has a doubt, please ask. See, option C is giving us already something we know, that Hyalina grows and matures slowly, but it is not giving us why the population of Hyalina is more than Galeata. Option A does not give us why the population, it is also giving us some extra information, which we already know. Number of species of Hyalina is twice that of Galeata. We already know that, but it is not giving us the reason why the population of Hyalina is more than the population of Galeata. D is totally irrelevant. And E is again telling us something we already know, that Galeata reproduces faster. So the only option which can satisfy the paradox is the one in B, that there are some predators which are eating up the Galeata, but Hyalina does not have that problem. So the population of Hyalina is more than the population of Galeata. We will now come to the Tocqueville passage. And what answer did you all get? Yes, D is the right answer. It is a except question. So the wrong, remember, in an except question, the wrong option will be the right answer. And D is the wrong option because D says they accumulated their fortune, but it's actually written here they inherited it from their family fortune. And all the others are mentioned. Distinct upper class is mentioned here. So A cannot be the answer. They were able to increase their holdings, constantly increase their share. So B cannot be the right answer. Some of them worked as professionals or in business, active in commerce or the professions. Many of them retained their wealth. These great fortunes survived the financial panics. So now you can be 100% sure why the right answer is D. Question number 5. Which of the following best states the author's main point? All right, so I'll explain this question. The author's main point is obviously you have to focus on the opening lines and the closing lines. And if you focus on the opening and closing lines, you will see there is that Pessen is overestimating, but at the same time, he is giving an iconoclastic study. And that's the basic reason why the answer is echo. That Pessen is challenging a view of the social and economic systems, but at the same time, he is drawing conclusions that are inaccurate. I hope you all got that. And how we eliminate. A says Pessen's study has overturned previously established. When Pessen himself is overestimating, how can he overturn? B. Tocqueville's analysis remains the definitive account. Tocqueville's analysis cannot remain the definitive account when it is written Tocqueville apparently was wrong. C says Pessen's study is valuable primarily because it shows the continuity. But Pessen is not showing continuity. Pessen is challenging by his iconoclastic study. Second, it says throughout 19th century, but we are not talking of throughout 19th century. It is Pessen is only talking about 25 years, 1825 to 1850. And D is talking about political power, and there is no mention of political power. So after doing a process of elimination, you can be sure the right answer is E, echo. I hope all of you are clear. If anyone still has a doubt, please ask. No doubts. So now we move to the next question, which is on this long passage, big passage. Although it is a big passage, but the answers are not that difficult. Questions are not that difficult. So anyone who tried it, what answer did you get? You can type your answer, all of you. It's a very easy question. It's still asking us about the hungry lizard. So we need to go to that line 31. Why the hungry lizard is given, and it's written aware in a sense closer to human consciousness than say a hungry lizard's instinctive snap at a passing beetle. So what does that mean? That means the hungry lizard is given as a way to compare between higher consciousness and lower consciousness, which is why the answer of this question is C for Charlie. Make a distinction between higher and lower levels of consciousness. I hope you all have tried it, and those of you who would have tried it would have got the same answer. So direct question, very easy. Next, we go to question number 7. What answer will you select? Anyone who tried it? I'm so sorry. Yes, Prabhat, thank you. So it's a direct question where we can get it from this sentence, the sentence where we have the mention of hungry lizard, and we have to read the sentence after the hungry lizard, that using past events, the large mammal predator is working out a relationship and sensitive to possibilities and cold trials and distant sounds and yesterday's unforgotten lessons. So this basically means there are some animals who are more intelligent because they remember from the past lessons, whereas the hungry lizard belongs to the group that does not remember. That's the reason the answer is A. As again, it's a very easy question. I hope you all have done it that way. We move to the next question. And what answer will you select? Question number 8, all of you type. That's right, option A, because it is directly written here. The kind of intelligence favored by the interplay of increasingly smarter catchers and increasingly keener escapers is defined by attention, that aspect of mind carrying consciousness forward from one moment to the next. So the clue is the word interplay here. And that's the reason the answer is A. Again, it's a direct question, direct answer. That's right. Pratiraksha, Diksha, Prabhat, well done. And Virat. Question number 9 is a except question. So remember, you got to find one option which is not true or not mentioned. That will be the answer. What option will you select? The expansion is not mentioned. Yes. So clue here is the word arousal. If you check out, the topic of discussion is arousal, which we have in the second and third paragraph both. And if you talk about production of adrenaline and beg your pardon, if you talk about production of adrenaline and norepinephrine, these two words are categorically mentioned here along with arousal in line 25. So it cannot be A, it cannot be B. Then, if you talk about heightening of sensitivity to stimuli, that's written in the second paragraph. More sensitive to its surroundings. This happens after the arousal system. So it cannot be C for Charlie. If you look at delta, which says increase in selectivity with respect to stimuli, that is written here, sensitivity to novelty is increased. So again, it cannot be delta. But the right answer is echo, because expansion of the range of states is not mentioned. Only the word range is written here in the line number 4. No, sorry, line number 10 of the second paragraph of the passage. The word range is mentioned here, but there is nothing mentioned about expansion of the range mediated by brain system. And the one which is not mentioned is the right answer because it is a except question. So we have discussed the strategy. I will repeat, in an except question, we look for the one which is not mentioned or which is given wrong. So either we are looking for one sentence which is not mentioned, or we are looking for a wrong statement. Either one of these two will be the right answer. I hope you all are clear. Let me repeat. Whenever you get an except question, what you need to do is select an option which is either not mentioned in the passage, or select an option which is giving a wrong statement. Either one of these two will be the right answer. And here you can see an expansion of the range of states is not mentioned in the passage. And that's the reason the one which is not mentioned will be the right answer. We will move to the next question. What answer will you select? All of you, please type. Diksha, Janaki, you both have got it right. Well done. Because we are talking about a misleading name. And the reason for that is people think it is a ordinary. You know, when you say run of the mill means ordinary. So people feel it is a ordinary music library, but the reality is it contains a lot of art treasures. So the name is a misleading name because people always get confused. And that's the reason the answer is Charlie. But which is a negative, not revered, which is positive, not proposed, which is neutral, not elevated, which is again positive, and not intriguing, which is like mystery. When you already know it contains art treasure, what is the mystery? If you did not know what it contains, then it could have been intriguing or mysterious. But when you already know it contains art treasures, then why will it be mystery? But it will definitely be misleading. People assume it is ordinary, but it is extraordinary. We move to question number 2. What answer will you all select? Birat, Prabhat, Diksha. Yes, Panacea, positive word. Well done. The reason is we have an although. So all of us know when there is an although, the two sides will go in an opposite way. Let us look out for the comma. We find the comma right here. So before the comma, after the comma, they will go in different ways. After the comma, you can see there is written negative side effects, which is negative tone. So what we need in the blank is a positive tone. And that's the reason we go for panacea, which is a positive word. Culprit is a negative word. Recipe is a neutral word. Explanation is a neutral word. Refuge it depends on what you give as refuge, like a sanctuary. So I would not say positive, I'll say negative. I'm sorry, neutral. But here refuge will not fit in. You cannot say economic growth is the refuge for poverty. When you talk about a prescription, that means it is like a medicine, and a medicine is like a panacea, which will cure it. So economic growth is like a medicine for poverty, but it cannot be a refuge for poverty. I hope you all got that. Neither can it be an explanation or a recipe or a culprit. So economic growth is like a solution or a medicine. That's why panacea will be the correct answer. Similar to that, we have another question about the economy. What answer did you get? All of you type. And do remember, even as is just like even though. It is a contrast. So you have to look for the comma, and the story will go in opposite way. Before the comma, after the comma. What answer did you all get? So Birat has got bravo, Prabhat has got bravo. Yes, that's the right answer. Well done, both of you. And Janaki has also got it. Because see, economy struggled in the first half before the comma. If the economy struggled, that is negative. So after the comma, what we need is something positive. Right. And because of that positive, we will go for sanguine, which is a positive word, but not arcane, which is negative, equivocal, which is negative, ambivalent, which is negative, irresolute, which is negative. So all the other options are negative. Only sanguine is the positive word, something cheerful. And that matches here that even as the economy is struggling, the secretary stood by his cheerful outlook, saying that technology was allowing businesses to make deep rooted improvements in their productivity, which is the best indicator of an economy's ability to grow. So you can see the entire side is positive. Improvement, productivity, ability to grow. So all of these are positive, which is why we need a positive. And before the comma, it's all negative, struggled. And that's the reason by applying the right strategy and identifying the positive and negative side, we can easily crack this question. So these are the word meanings, and this is how we solved it. I hope you all are getting the strategy and apply the same strategy in the examination to get these questions correct. What answer will you select for number 4? Prabhat, AE, Diksha, AE, Virat, AE, Pushkar, Janaki, Shritika. All of you have chosen A and E, which is the right combination. We need two words for opulent and expensive, like wealthy. Why? Because we are talking about the villas and compounds are proliferating, which means increasing, and there is some kind of a building boom. So building boom means automatically, boom means the industry is having profit. That means the prices would be rising. Then only the industry can have a boom. So for people of average means, maybe it is becoming unaffordable to buy a kind of a building or a compound for themselves. So what we need is something beyond the availability of common people, beyond the possibility of the common people to own any kind of a villa or a compound. That's why we are going for two words for expensive. One is obviously the word expensive, and a synonym of that is opulent, something very expensive, which only the wealthy people can afford. So it's a easy question. Next, we go to the fifth question about the governor and what combination did you all get? I have received a couple of answers, and the answers are from Virat, Diksha, Janaki, and Pushkar. Everybody has gone for A and F, adroit and breathtaking. Yeah, that's the right combination. Well done, all of you. The thing is, we have to identify the contrast word but right in the middle. So before the but, we are praising the governor by saying he has considerable political talents. And the moment we put the word but, which is a contrast, that means now we are not going to praise the governor, but we will be praising his opponent. So I hope all of you got it. Now we are going to praise his opponent because of the but. So his opponent, whose oratorial skills must be very good, we need a positive word, which is why breathtaking, not unpretentious or spurious, they will not fit in here. And here we are comparing the governor with his opponent. And we already know opponent's oratorial skills are very good. Breathtaking means very good. So when you already know the governor is not good and the opponent is better, and remember the subject is we are talking about the governor at the beginning. So as a speaker, he means the governor is obviously less talented, isn't it? So when we have the word less, what we need is a positive word here because we are talking about a positive quality. So the governor may have a lot of talents of his own, but in speaking, he is less talented than his opponent. Whose is referring to the opponent whose oratorial skills are very good. So this is one area where the governor is not good, that is in speaking, and he is less talented. So we need a positive word, which is why adroit will fit in here. Not less unconvincing. If you say he is less unconvincing, that means he is more convincing. If he is more convincing, then why did we put the word but? We would have put the word and the sentence would go in the same way that we are praising the governor. But this is how you have to do the positive negative analysis. The first part, we are praising the governor. Second part, we are praising his opponent. Less talented. Not than his opponent can be taken as a positive thing. He doesn't have to talk much. Right? But if you say less adroit, that's negative. That means in speaking, he is less talented and his opponent is more talented. I hope all of you have got the strategy. We will now move to the next question. Question number 6, we are now talking about a film director. What option combination would you select? It's a very interesting question. So all of you type. So I think this question you faced a bit of problem. So nobody's typing the answer. Let me explain. Don't worry. It's a bit tricky, but not very difficult. Okay, to begin with, we are talking about a director, and everybody knows he's a Marxist. Identify. Everybody knows his ideology. He is a Marxist against the powerful people, and he supports the powerless and the marginal. So if everybody knows he is a Marxist, his ideology will be present in his films. Otherwise, how do you know that he's a Marxist? And why will you say there is no point in combing through his work to know his ideology? Combing through means search. So if the author is saying there is no requirement for anybody to search his work, means his films, to know his ideology, that automatically means everybody knows his ideology, that he is a Marxist. And how do you know some film director is a Marxist or a writer is a Marxist? Obviously, from their books and movies, you can know what kind of a philosophy the writer or the director of the movie will have. So here we are talking about a movie director, and because you are saying there is no need to comb through the director's work to know his ideology, and everybody knows that he's a Marxist, that automatically means his ideology will be present in his films. So why will it be hidden? Why will it be murky? The answer is B. It will be the chief impetus of his films. Impetus means force. So it will be forceful in his films because everybody knows he's a Marxist, right? Then the clarity and force have become considerable. So when something becomes considerable, usually, the critics start finding faults. So here you can take the critics. And remember, the critic's job is always to find a fault. So what is the fault they will say? They will say now that the director is having something and he is lacking something. So he is having something, lacking something means these two words will be opposite of each other. So we basically need an opposite pair between blank 2 and blank 3. That's the strategy. So you start looking for an opposite pair. One opposite pair can be obscurity and lucidity. But you cannot say he is obscure when you say there is a clarity, right? Neither can you say feebleness when you already say his work is having some force. But you can definitely say his work can become blunt when someone is having a lot of clarity and power, force. So they can become blunt. And what is blunt? To be direct. So now the critics are saying that director has become very blunt or direct. Then what is the director lacking? The opposite of direct. And what is the opposite of direct? To become indirect. And which is the word for indirect? Subtlety, which is the opposite of bluntness. So this is how we crack this question. If anyone still has some kind of a doubt, please ask. No doubts, everybody is clear. So this was quite an interesting question. And now we will move to the number 7. Now we are talking about a company and things are becoming unraveling means things are becoming clear. What option did you all get? Virat has got BFI, unmistakable games omission. Sorry, tobacco. Yeah, that's the right combination. Yes. So the thing is, because of the word, things are becoming unraveling, means things are now becoming clear. So we need a word for things are becoming clear, which is why unmistakable, not vindicated, which means pardon, or unverifiable, which is just the opposite. And if things are becoming clear, so what do we got to know? That the company was playing some kind of creating value out of thin air. Can you create value out of thin air? No, that means the company was playing some kind of a game. Why game? Because we need the opposite of visionary. What is visionary? Visionary means long term. When you have a vision, so what will be the opposite of long term? Something short term. And what is short term? When people play games, they are not serious about anything. So this is how you can get the answer that people are playing games. The company is also playing games because it is the opposite of long term. In long term, the company will try to create value in the normal way. isn't it? How does a person create value? By working hard. How does a company create value? By maintaining all the documents in the right way, passing all the regulations. But in the short term, how does a company create value out of thin air? By doing some kind of negative activity, which is like playing a game, the opposite of long term, which is how we get the second blank. And when you start playing games and you start creating value out of thin air, so what will happen? One day the company will be caught in some kind of a scandal, some kind of a wrongdoing, and that's how we go for debacle, disaster. I guess it is the same for a human being and it is the same for a company. You cannot create value by playing games, right? All of us agree to that. If anyone has a doubt, please ask. No doubts, all of you are clear now. So we move to the next question. And we will go for a break at 8 o'clock. Not now, we still have another 15 odd minutes. All right, let's go to question number 8. Now we are talking of some kind of radio station music. This is also a bit interesting, but it can be a bit difficult and tricky. Anyone who's tried it? Type your answers, all of you. ADG. Hmm. Yeah, why others are not typing? Only Virat is typing. No one else has done it. What happened to Pratiraksha, Diksha? You guys were typing before, now you guys have stopped typing. Prabhat, you guys have not done. Anyways, fine, don't worry, I'll explain. If you have a doubt, okay, Sam, ADG, hidebound, originality, consensus. Right. By the way, it started raining where I am. I hope there is no power failure. How many of you are experiencing rain right now in your area? Type a yes. Started drizzling. Yeah, here too. But Sam, you're not in Kathmandu, right? My colleague told me you're outside Kathmandu. So in that area also, that city, it's raining. Yes, yes. In Kathmandu, those of you raining, na? Ha ha ha. Pitambar, Pratiroksha. Yes, yes.